mono lead vocal.
But I don't see us keeping it up.
Stereo doubles added in.
But I don't see us keeping it up.
Now we have a mono harmony, which is supposed to gel and play with the main mono lead vocal.
But I don't see us keeping it up.
And then 3 tracks of woes.
Now I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted.
Should vocals in this genre be treated the same as in mainstream music?
But I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted.
Have you heard mixing advice along the lines of only cut with EQ, don't boost, or don't compress more than a couple of decibels on vocals? Do these tips apply to music like this? So this is video 2 in the mixing series on emo pop punk. So let me walk you through the entire vocal mix, starting with the lead vocal. So first up, the Shep 73 from Waves. This is to emulate a hardware preamp. So I am pushing the input here and bringing the output down accordingly so that I'm just sort of pushing it in to saturate it, not making it any louder. And I've also got the high pass engaged here at 80 Hz. Next, Soothe 2. Now this is just used as a utility in this instance because there was an issue on one note where it was spiking here around the 5K. So I've just got that whacked up there to take care of that only when that problem happens. Hence why it's Soothe 2 and I didn't notch it out with EQ. And then we have the FG Stress from Slate Digital, which emulates a distressor plugin. So this plugin and the Shep 73 before it are just to emulate hardware you would find in a pro studio. It's the input chain that the vocals would be run through and most likely would have been printed down on them before mixing started. So here we've got 6:1 ratio. I've slightly slowed the attack down to bring out a bit of the transient of the vocal, but when you open this up, it starts on 5 on attack and 5 on release. So I've only slowed it down slightly. Now we get into the actual mixing plugins and we start with some EQ on this SSL channel from Waves. So like I mentioned in the intro, if you were only cutting with EQ, or if you've ever heard that don't boost or cut more than 3 decibels with EQ, then this is completely breaking those rules. At 8K, which is the air and the presence of the vocal, I've got it up to 9 decibels. And I'm even boosting some more of that grit and presence at around 4K, just under 2 decibels of that. I'm also boosting just above 1K here, 4.5 dB, which is your mid-range presence of the vocal, and stops it sounding like it's scooped or like on a hi-fi or something like that. It brings it up front. And then over here on the right side of the plugin, 4:1 ratio on the compressor, and I've got it dialed in with the threshold so that it hits sort of about 6 decibels of gain reduction there. So a quick A/B test of this plugin with the vocal soloed.
But I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted. Now I don't see us keeping it up.
Quite bright, right? If you were mixing that in solo, that would sound way too bright. But in the context of the mix, let's hear that again.
But I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted. Now I don't see us keeping it up.
You need that brightness because you've got guitars and everything sucking up all the areas that vocals sit. Plus, listen to how bright vocals are in music like this. You'll probably be surprised. Okay, next up, some compression and the CLA 76 from Waves with the blue stripe. And this is the attack down the middle and the release set as fast as it can be. And this will bring the vocal right up into your face. And with the slower attack, you should hear quite a lot of transient and energy. So quick A/B of this.
But I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted. Now I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted.
I always describe that as it's like the singer's spitting in your face rather than just singing. And that's the attitude and aggression you want in like a rock song like this. That obviously brings out sibilance, so it's followed up with an RDSer here. I'm always very gentle with these things, so I brought this down to just 12 decibels. The threshold's at a point where it's obviously only going to hit when the sibilance and S sounds happen. And naturally, with that kind of brightness, there's some harshness that we're just taking care of here. This is a dynamic setting around 3.5K, and then we've got a cut of 5K. That's just to make it smoother so that I can boost that 8K area dramatically, and then follow it up by controlling the bits that aren't so nice that get brought out by that. And then to help it sit and give it some of that analog flavor, we've got a warm tape setting here from Saturn 2. And this is the default setting when you open up the plugin. Just chuck it on there and I know it's going to do a good job. Followed up by a limiter, and that'll be pinning the vocal in place. With the vocals in these songs, especially the choruses, the vocal needs to be heard. It needs to be a main feature. It can't be too dynamic. You need the attitude, you need the energy, and you need to hear it. Hence the multiple layers of compression and now limiting to keep it where it needs to be. And this gain plugin here would just be to bring down the level. And I would play with that as I sort of get used to hearing the song and make sure the vocals are sitting in the right place. So why don't we turn off the mixing chain here, and then we'll turn it on so you can hear an A-B of what we've done.
But I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted.
Hear how that sticks out? Sounds weird. Sounds like a demo. Let's turn our mixing chain on.
But I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted. Now I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted.
And just quickly, if you make music like this and need me to mix your next song, then head over to my website, terrybeckleyrecording.com, or click the banner here and get in touch with me via the contact form. I will get back to you. Have you noticed the production style here, which also helps the vocals sound polished, professional, and gives a chorus a big, wide feel? And it's the amount of layers we have. We've got the main mono vocal down the middle. We've got a mono harmony double of that. We've got stereo doubles as well. So that's one left and one right, double track of the lead vocal. We've got a lower harmony, also in stereo, left and right, doubles. And then we've got 3 tracks of woes. So when tracking this, we recorded 9 vocal tracks. I just want to show you how important this is too, as just the one mono vocal down the middle just doesn't cut it for this kind of music. Let me bring them in one by one. Mono lead vocal.
But I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun.
Stereo doubles added in.
But I don't see us keeping it up.
So it's thick and wide with those doubles added in. Now we have a mono harmony, which is supposed to gel and play with the main mono lead vocal.
But I don't see us keeping it up.
And then a lower harmony, which sort of extends the vocals now because we've got all that going on in a higher bit. I want to round it off with this lower one too. And I find it gives it like a sing-along factor when you have this lower harmony in there and gives it like a more minory emo feel.
But I don't see us keeping it up.
And then 3 tracks of woes, which sound like this.
Now I don't see us keeping it up. It was fun while it lasted.
All that together stacks up for a big, thick, wide chorus of vocals. Now the doubles and harmonies are mixed in the same way. The woes, however, are bussed to a woes track, so I can treat them all as one sound and get that sort of wall of sound backing vocal style. Still a Sheps 73 to start with, pushing it slightly to get that saturation, but high passing it up to 300 Hz. Limiter to pin them in place. Then I have a vocal doubler on here, which is the Howard Benson vocal multiplier from Joey Sturgis Tones. Such a cool, simple plugin. You just sort of, 10% on voices, 100% stereo width, and you just sort of bring the volume up to where you like it. Then the Waves Arvux to compress it, because this is a heavy compressor, I find. So I really wanted that woes pinned. Then this EQ for brightness, because I wanted a load of air out of it. So I've got a 20K shelf there. And then a quarter note delay to give it an ambient background feel. And it's also here bussed off to Valhalla Room because I want them wet. Hopefully this video provided some value, and if you'd like to see more mixing videos on emo and pop punk and similar genres, then please check out my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you at the next one.